Hey there everybody, Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CarterMatt.com.
This video is our first viewing reaction for the Expanse Season 3, Episode 6, entitled Immolation, but I feel like really, I almost think we should just call it the finale because it kind of feels like a finale.
It definitely does. It felt like a finale. We're moving into a new thing that's coming in, much like what happened in Season 2, and we're moving into some new space.
There are certain videos that I do when something, I do this a lot with Big Brother especially, when something really crazy happens, I just kind of go into this form where I don't speak proper sentences anymore, and I just kind of come on here, and I'm just like, what? And I say the word what like 200 times. I feel like this episode had like 5 different what moments, and I'm still like, what are you doing, Expanse?
Oh yeah, it was crazy. There was a lot of stuff happening.
I'm all in on this episode, by the way. This is maybe like top 3 episode of the series for me. I'm also all in on a lot of different things that they did. Also, Amos is my favorite character on The Expanse. Change my mind. Let's go. All right, before we do anything else.
And that relationship with Prax.
Oh, okay, we'll get to that.
He's my best friend in the whole world. Oh my god, I love this episode.
All right. Well, okay, we'll just say, if you like the video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other updates. All right.
Okay, we have to start with that.
Okay, can we also start with this? I am that guy. It was like, I knew I could see this line just coming from across the galaxy, but yet somehow Amos delivered it.
He did. I knew it was coming as well. Everything about this was so good. To Prax saying, this is my best friend in the whole world. It was so wholesome. And May taking his hand, it's so small and his is so big. And Amos coming out and stopping him from shooting. All of it. It was so amazing. I felt it so much in my heart. I love this relationship.
It was the sweetest storyline.
I'm out of words. I don't even know what to say.
Well, here's what it is. This is the sweetest storyline of all time that ends with some dude getting shot. Because let's not forget that at the end of this, Amos puts a bullet in this guy and
I don't
Strickland
feel bad about that
no more.
At all.
No, I don't feel bad about it either. But
I love that he made it so that Prax was not going to have to carry that he had no problem carrying that for him, for their friendship, that he doesn't need to go there. He'll go there for him. I love them.
There was also just the Strickland part of this sold me on it even more, where you see at first Strickland is so happy. He's like, oh, this guy is showing up and he's helping me. Thank you, kind sir. Where can I go now? I will be your doctor. I will do anything. Then the moment that Prax walks away and Amos's facial expression changes, it's immediate like oh no, this is not better, this is worse.
Way worse, and you're getting everything you deserve.
I mean, the end for Strickland, I don't have any RIP for Strickland.
Sweet justice!
This is sweet justice. This is Amos becoming the Expanse version of Judge Dredd in this particular moment.
Guilty.
I could talk for like 20 more minutes about this. Give me all of the Amos all the time right now. I am into everything that's going on. But that's not it. I mean, I'm going to go a little all over the place because my brain is all over the place at the moment. And I just also have to be like, what? You're arresting Aaron Wright at this point? What? No, this is not a thumbs up. This is like, why are you doing this right now?
It's time.
It's not time.
It is time. Everybody has seen that video. It is time. There was no way for it not to happen, especially after he basically called him like a mop with a bucket for a head. It's pretty much what it is. Oh, see, if he last talked to a mop, then that's who he would be going with. And it did kind of feel like that, to be fair. But no, it was time. It was time for him to go. I love him, and when it's been watching these videos, you know how much I like Aaron Wright. He's such a good bad guy.
We have made it a good 2.5 seasons before having our first full-on visit to the argument Thunderdome that we're about to have on this subject.
All right, let's have it.
We needed more there. This is not... Don't get me wrong. It was spectacular to see this happen. It was too fast. it felt like it all kind of built it up too much over the past couple of episodes, and now Aaron Wright is here. Okay, here's what needed to happen. Aaron Wright needed to punch Gillis in the face, run away as fast as humanly possible, have like a couple of his traitors on a security detail, and then just take off, and then Aaron Wright gets like taken down in the season 3 finale.
Okay, this isn't like Vikings where Ivar's in the wind after his throne has been taken from him, and then we're gonna see him rebuild and come back. I felt this was the moment that it needed to happen because it did feel like a season finale. We're not obviously at a season finale, but it felt like it. It has been mentioned that this is where I think one book is ending and another book is continuing. They did this in season 2 in the middle as well. I don't feel like, as much as I love Aaron Wright, and you guys all know I do, he couldn't continue on. Too many people had seen the video. It was everywhere. There's nowhere he could have gone.
I could go down he could start shouting it's a deep fake from the heavens again and do that sort of spiel, but I'm not buying into that. I wanted a little bit more with it. That doesn't take away from the moment. That doesn't take away from just the weirdness between like Gillis and Anna even after the fact where, I think Anna at first was like, all right, we've done this. Yes. And then Gillis is like, I'm so relieved now that I don't have to take responsibility for these 2 million people that died. It's like, stop being a jerk, Gillis. I mean, you're not as bad as Aaron Wright, but you're pushing it with this whole
I agree.
legacy nonsense.
Yeah.
It's like, how about you just be a good leader? How about you just go and give a good freaking speech and listen to Anna for a change instead of just like being a jerk in this moment.
Because he's not a good leader and he is malleable and will go with whoever he has spoken to last. That's why that sentence that Aaron Wright said, if he was talking to that mop over there, then we'd be having a very different conversation right now. It's kind of true.
That part of it is true. It feels like, Gillis is like the Expanse's version of like, you go to the doctor's office and there's like that community Play-Doh and you're sort of like, why is this at a doctor's office?
What doctor's office are you going to?
I'm pretty sure when I was a kid I went to one and it's probably like closed now because of all sorts of like health code violations, but it's like...
I agree that they have stuff in the corner that you can like read books is what we had in ours, and there was like a rocking horse which was in ours too. Community Play-Doh.
I feel like maybe it was in elementary school too. It's just sort of like... Everyone messes with the Play-Doh. Everybody makes whatever they want out of it. That's what Gillis is. And he's probably all like weird and messed up because of it, just like that Play-Doh is. I think this video is educational for a lot of people out there. And I've had a lot...
me!
Yeah.
I didn't know that this existed.
I've had a lot of coffee, and I'm very upset about Aaron Wright being arrested, and that does not make me a bad person. That just makes me a person who wanted more of his dastardly deeds.
I absolutely did too. I love him. I think he was such a great foil for everybody. Yeah. I am going to miss seeing him on the show. Maybe there'll be a little bit more. He is only going to jail, or, hopefully not executed. Maybe there'll be some more. I just don't know.
Here's an idea. Does Aaron Wright now become Negan? And he just ends up like being in prison for a while and then like busts out and becomes...
God, I hope not. That was a bad storyline.
Okay, well, yeah, we don't need to go through our misgivings for The Walking Dead, but like, yeah.
We'll be here for hours.
But it is I don't think Aaron Wright's done. I will say that. I think there's probably more... That is the comment. By the way, we have now gone 9 minutes within this video, and we have talked about maybe like 20% of this episode because we have not talked about the fact that freaking Eros has just like popped off of Venus like it was a pimple that got popped, and it's sort of like taken the mass of all this other nonsense along with it.
And I just said it in the last video too, that nobody really knew what was going on with Eros on Venus. Was it going to be able to leave? Was it going to be able to just take off and do whatever?
Yeah.
And here we are. It seems that it was almost done its work, and it's come together and taken pieces from everything it's disassembled, and now it is a really big problem floating out into space, going who knows where with whatever agenda it has, and it's not going to be good.
See, I'm going to be a total hypocrite here because I have been on these videos, like, complaining about the Abergas for being ridiculous, and like, why are you sending yourselves into there, and you're probably all gonna die because you saw what happened to your probes. But at the same time, I kind of feel like you guys did the equivalent of, you know, you put a little bit of, like, weed killer on your weeds. I know Prax will appreciate this analogy since it's gardening related, but, like, you put the weed killer on, and then you just, like, go away for 2 weeks, and you think the problem is going to get better.
And then you come back, and your weeds are 10 feet tall, and they've taken over your house, and they're in your living room watching TV.
The weeds are everywhere at the moment, because now you have protomolecule as just, like, a part of your solar system. And it's, like, flying around, and now it is probably stronger than you can possibly imagine.
Yeah, it's mobile. This is bad.
This is very bad. And then, you know, at the center of it, you've got, like, proto-millers, like, captaining it, and, like, all this other stuff. Which, I don't know if that's happening, but, I mean, come on.
But he's a part of it. Yeah. He's still a part of it, so, you know.
If Eros survived,
still in my heart,
everybody could survive in some sort of, like, horrific way. And, yeah, this is so messed up. I mean, I guess the good news is I get good is that maybe Fred Johnson has taken off some of those, like, protomolecule pods that were floating around out there.
Yeah, it was cool to see Naomi suggest this, and that the crew all agreed, and they were all on the same page that they were gonna have Fred step in, and Fred did step in and dealt with what he could.
Good on you, Fred. Now, can you also give us, like, an ETA on Drummer and, like, what's going on there?
What is going on? She's got to be on her way back with the Nauvoo at this point.
Yeah, I guess it's mostly, like, the timeline, and I know people have talked about this in the comments, that it would take her this long to go and do all this sort of stuff. But, yeah, it's like, Tycho, I understand that it takes Chad Coleman a long time to get off that makeup from the Orville, and that's probably why we're not seeing all that much of him. But, you know, still, I think Tycho's probably going to come back now sooner, because, you know, Naomi said that she can't stay.
Yeah, and she didn't say exactly where she's going, but I'm assuming she is going to fight for the belt, that there is something more with that. There has been a lead up to this. It would make sense that that's what would be happening. And I know that I've been saying that I think Fred is going to bite it, and we only have a few episodes left, and he hasn't, and maybe I'm going to be wrong. I don't want to see Naomi leave the group, but I would love to see a Drummer or a Naomi running the belt.
I think another reality here, and, you know, not to get into, like, dark realism, but nothing can stay forever. It's like, you know, they've all had their little run now, and they've been like the Rossi crew, and they've had their good times, and eaten some lasagna, and, like, had some hijinks, but, you know, nothing stays. And so I think eventually you're gonna see somebody leave, and maybe it won't be permanent, but, you know, it makes sense that they're not going to be floating out there in space forever. Maybe Naomi goes back to Tycho for a while, realizes, you know, it's not for her. Maybe you see Holden somewhere else. I mean, I would kind of love it if episodes 7 and 8 sort of had the crew doing some other things and sort of kind of figuring out where they are, and then you get kind of the band back together and they go on their reunion tour, aka we gotta stop Eros from taking over the entire solar system.
Yeah, because that's a problem that they're going to have to take care of in some regard. I said this in the last video, I'll say it again. With something as big as that, I still feel like Earth and Mars and the belt are going to need to come together. And maybe that's part of why Naomi might be going there, or to Tycho, or to work with the belt, because nobody wants to trust Fred. Fred has too many enemies and too many problems that follow him around. Yeah. So maybe someone like Naomi, if she was working with him or helping or something, there'd be a little more trust.
I think now there is an opportunity to rebuild things. That's the interesting thing about where we are right now, is that we got Aaron Wright seemingly out of the picture. With Aaron Wright gone, you would think Anna would be a more positive influence on Gillis. He can start to steer Earth in the right direction a little bit. Maybe everything has gotten to Mars. Maybe Mars is going to start to realize, okay, you know what? We got to start to kind of get ourselves together to some degree. Mm-hmm. And then maybe the belt can sort of get roped in here as well. And you can have everyone start to come together. But there are still problems because, you know, we've got Nguyen out there, and Nguyen is, but he's in the running with Gillis, by the way, is just like, jerk face of the time. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, he's a jerk.
Yeah, do you need to just be so like blatantly offensive to people from Mars and the Belt while everyone around you is freaking dying? Like, this is your priority?
Yeah, I guess he still wants to be that evil kind of, you can't stop them all, ha ha ha, kind of feeling while that's all going on.
Yeah,
but...
yeah. Amos, I got some more work for you to do, by the way. No, it's that guy can go. I'm done with him. Oh, we have to pour one out for Coior now, though.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, here's the thing, though. I thought Coior was dead once already in the Expanse, so, I mean, I don't want to... Nothing is certain.
Nothing is certain, but it felt like a bit of a full circle moment when he was sending out his message that he felt like he had done what he could.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've probably lost him. I hope not, but it feels like they had 10 minutes and the ship was going to go boom.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, the Expanse gives people such heroic send-off sometimes, though. Like, that makes me happy. Miller got his hero moment. Coior got his hero moment. He got to send his message. I mean...
Okay, we also have to talk about that sequence of Bobbie and a Proto-Man, the new Proto-Man. Yeah. That was really incredible. Whoever put together Bobbie's suit and the sound effects of it, that thud, thud, thud of her running and watching her jumping and... Incredible, just incredible, with her last bit of strength to fire off her gun and kill him, and it was incredible.
There's a lot of credit that needs to go around here, because first and foremost, I would be dead right now. Like, let's make this very clear. I do not have the Bobbie Draper training regimen, clearly, because you're running with that, like, 45-pound suit for, like, that long a period of time with this weird thing, and you don't know what it is behind you. She's, like, running out of ammo. I mean,
running out of power.
She's running out of everything. I mean, it was a really well-shot sequence.
Very heroic.
Very intense. Like, this is the Bobbie Draper I wanted to see at the start of season 2, where it just felt like she was just all like, all the time. And it was just like, it's sort of like when you're watching someone who is like awesome, but also a front runner, where you know they're going to like win every battle or anything like that. It's no fun when you see someone win all the time.
I think for me, it just changed because when we first met her, she was just like, rah, rah, Mars, kill them all, blah, that kind of feeling. And now she actually felt like a hero, that she was sacrificing herself for something that was much bigger than her, that she had a better understanding of. Because when we first met her, it felt like she didn't really have an understanding. She was just taught whatever she was taught by her higher-ups. Earth is the enemy, you kill the enemy, they're using their faces as target practice. Now she actually knows what is happening, who the enemy is, and what she's sacrificing for. And so now watching her do these heroic acts, it feels like it has so much more weight to it. So now she has the skin in the game for me that when I saw her lying on the ground like that, I really was scared that was it.
I don't know how Bobbie is actually alive at the moment, like, really. I think that I'm glad the show kept her alive because I'm invested in her now, and I feel like if everyone else is gonna have, like, their 5-second break before the next chaos, they should let, like, Bobbie go to a good ocean and not, like, the that UN ocean that we saw.
I feel like there is no good ocean.
Yeah, that's probably one of the depressing realities of the Expanse, but, I mean, she deserves something after going through all of that. I mean, a lot of these people do, but I guess you don't really get breaks when the entire galaxy is, like, on the verge of collapsing within itself because of this weird threat you don't understand.
Especially now. Now that Eros has rebuilt and it is moving. There is no time for rest and lasagna. It is on to the next problem.
And there's going to be a lot of them, but I'm probably more excited to watch next episode than I've been for really ever, just because I don't know where you go from anything like this.
And I'm pretty excited to see May on the Rossi. I really like, I know we talked about this a bit before. We were like, man, we're really going to have a kid on the Rossi? Yeah, we're going to have a kid on the Rossi.
I'm already worried about it, though, because you already got Amos just, like, dropping the F-bomb in front of these kids at the end of the episode.
Absolutely, and that's not great. But they could be a lot worse, and they could see a lot worse. I just like the idea of seeing some of what they're going to be doing from a kid's perspective in this type of universe. So I think it's gonna be fun.
I think it will be fun. I think maybe it'll change people, give them a different perspective on things. You know, maybe Uncle Amos will come around and he'll start to become like, you know, the good. He'll be the fun uncle.
Well, that's sort of what I was wondering, because he has such a close relationship with Prax now, and they're best friends, his best friend in the whole world, and they've changed each other so significantly in really positive ways that now having May on board, I'm wondering if it's going to continue to change and help him.
Maybe. I think anything is possible, but we also know Amos is that guy.
He is that guy, and I don't want that to change. But it's nice to see little bits of stuff happen. So if it's possible, I'm curious to see her on the ship.
With that, we will venture into New Horizons, otherwise known as Episode 7. But anyway, what did you guys think about this episode after you first watched it? I mean, were you like me and just screaming about everything that's going on? Let us know in the comments. And if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the Carter Matt store. And I'll see you here next time.